today we're going to be doing some minor refinish work on a couple of bumpers here at Brilliance and Crystal Lake. First we have a CRV. It has minor damage here on the bumper, as you can see right here. The rest of the bumper is pretty clean, as though the appear damaged. So we prepped the car. What I've done is I've taped off the car, taped it off, taped everything, covered everything that we don't want to get any paint on. Now what we've actually done is we're going to just paint this area here, and we're going to clear to about here, so we don't have to waste any material products from the rest of the bumper. When we do our clear, we're going to scuff to about right here with a 400 grit paper on the DA, and then a little 1500. This is where we're going to do our blend. So we're just going to take it to about right here, and this will keep us from having to paint the whole entire bumper. So this is all we actually need to take off. Over here, we have another car with some just small damage on the right lower of the bumper here. You can see from here to here. And again, we've taped off everywhere we don't want to get any paint. We've taped off the hood, the grill, the headlights. But we also have damage. Here, we have some cracking. Here, so we're going to actually refinish. And some chips and pings, so we're going to make this whole bumper look nice. So we're going to paint the whole bumper. So we papered it off, the whole grill, part of the hood, the headlights, so we can watch for overspray and try to control the paint. And when we clear the car, and pretty sure everything's going to come out all right. Next you're going to see TC starting the sand, applying and paint the car.
$180 on the DA. That done. We'll start over here.
Okay, now TC is getting ready to apply the clear coat and do his blend. When clearing, you want to make sure to stay at least 6 to 8 inches away from the area that you're clearing. You want to have clean, even strokes, overlapping 50 to 75%. And you want to make sure it has a nice, wet, shiny finish. Remember, how it looks when you clear is how it looks when it's dry. So if it looks a little dry, After clearing, you want to go over it again because it's going to dry the same way.
Okay, so now we've got the bumper primed and sanded all down with 400 across the whole thing. And what I'm having James do is scuff up the edges, scuff up any parts that the DA wasn't able to get into. And you want to scuff it up like that with the gray pad, the gray Scotch-Brite. Because if you leave any areas unsanded or unscuffed, you get a potential for your paint to start peeling. So you want to make sure you get in all the crevices real good. Anywhere where the DA didn't hit, scuff it up real good, go over it a couple times. A little pressure on it.
Alright, now the car's been scuffed. I've pre-cleaned it. Basically, after I scuffed it, I went over with a cleaner to remove any excess debris to make sure that when we're painting, nothing would be sticking on top or any junk underneath the paint. TC is going to actually start painting the primer areas first. You want to get those covered before you start dusting over the rest of the car, and give it a little time to actually dry a little bit to make sure the primer is not peeking through. Sometimes you have to go back over it a few times, your primer areas with paint, just to make sure they're covered correctly. Since this is a lighter car, silver, we're going to put a base coat down first. That's actually going to make the paint, when he paints, they lay down flat, especially when you have a lot of metallics, to even out the paint, and also cover up any imperfections that we may have prior to painting. So right now he's putting down a base coat before we put our mid coat, which is actually the paint, and then the third coat, which is actually going to be the clear and reducer. And with the base coat, you don't have to lay it on very thick. You just want to cover the bumper area. Again, just to lay down and give it a nice bed for, to cover any imperfections, and also so the paint will have somewhere to lay out flat in. Alright, he's finished laying down his base. Gonna go ahead and start painting. Again, he's going to start with his primer areas first. Now as he's spraying, he's actually also checking the color when he first started going over his first primary to make sure the color looks right and his gun is spraying correctly. Alright, we've added our clear and our hardener to the gun. TC is giving it a light tack coat before he goes to his final clearing of the bumper. So he's going over everything just to lay down a nice bed. So again, this is called a tack coat. Now, which he's going to get us a few minutes to breathe a little bit, to cure, before he comes with his wet coat, which is next. Now TC is putting on his wet coat, the final coat of the clear. When clearing, you want to try to do it in sections if you can. So he's checking his corners, seeing how the clear is applied and how it looks before he goes any further. Remember where he stops and starts it. Usually after clearing, it's dry to the touch depending on the temperature, anywhere from a half an hour to an hour. I would suggest safe for washing. If you want to do so, give it about a day before you actually wash, or put any type of towel or cleaning agent on the car or cleared and painted area. You should have a nice gloss, shiny finish. And remember, once you finish clearing, how it looks when you're done is how it looks when it dries.